Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, where we've had 17 Azazel runs in a row, so some easy victories. You want to see it become Cain, but you know it's not going to happen. SJW7WV7N. You guys ever feel like 7 is overrepresented in Isaac seeds? I understand you might be like, it's a recency bias. I feel like you see 7 more than you would expect. And you might say there's no reason for that, but there is a reason for that. Potentially. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. However, you know, not all numbers are represented in the Isaac seed generation. Not all digits, I should say. Because some of them can be confused with letters. So I think some of them have the letters available and some of them have the numbers available, like O instead of 0 or vice versa. Anyway. Today is December 26th. It's a Commonwealth holiday known as Boxing Day. I'm just gonna head this off at the pass, I should say. Oftentimes, Boxing Day is mocked by a predominantly American audience. They say Boxing Day is ridiculous. You talk to me when you freaking get rid of Columbus Day about holidays that don't make any freaking sense. Along with the, you know, negatives of Christopher Columbus, he didn't even discover you're missing out. Anyway, is all I'm trying to say. Sorry, I got too lost in my own sauce there. I got lost in Canadianisms. I am working on Boxing Day because it's not a real holiday. Only I can say it. You can't say it. But I had a good holiday season. On Christmas Eve, we went down to our in-laws in Washington. And normally when I go down there, I leave exhausted because, you know, I'm the cool uncle, you know? Kids are always like, let's play tag. And I'm like, no. And they're like, you have to. And I'm like, all right, I guess I have to. And then we play tag. But this time, there were like, some of Kate's cousins were there. And they were closer in age to my nieces than I was. Which was awesome because they played together. And I got to be a part of the adult conversations. Which mostly, you know, because they happen in the Korean language, means I just sit around nodding. And then biding time until I feel like it's not impolite to look at my phone ever again. Sometimes people... This should be a relatable bit, I think. But particularly younger people, I think, they're like, well, if my spouse's parents spoke a different language than me, I would simply learn that language so I could have a conversation with them. Look, you actually might. And I think it's an admirable thing to do. Okay? Kate's parents do speak English, but their English is not a firm grasp. We're not having meaningful conversations where, you know, saying things like, you know, it was nice to see you. And I go, yes, 감사합니다. You know? That's about where the limit ends up being there. But the thing is, you only get one life. And you got a limited amount of time to live it. It's like... It is a good thing to do, but you're really going to spend, like, you know, possibly hundreds or even thousands of hours learning a language so that, you know, on 1 or 2 holidays a year, you can kibitz on a single conversation. Nah, you know, it's a work smart, not hard thing. The people that always are like, I would simply learn the language as well. I'm like, what are you talking about? I would simply learn the skill. You got 3,300 hours in Path of Exile this year. Put your money where your mouth is. Anyway, we're moving on here. So yeah, I just got to kind of chill out on Christmas Eve, which is nice. But the communication differences, you know, it does lead to some comical situations. Like, I was just there on Christmas Eve, and Kate's mom, like, shoved a phone in my face. And it was a maybe like 60-year-old Korean woman I've never seen in my life before. And she said, hello. And I said, hello. And then she said, I've seen you on YouTube many times. And I said, haha, cool. And then she said, do you have plans with your family for Christmas? And, I mean, if you saw my tweet, you know, this is a rehashing. But I made polite conversation for the amount of time that there was a duration of conversation. I have no idea who this woman is. And then I'm expected to divulge. It's not even that it's like a privacy issue. It's more just like, I don't know who you are. Why are you asking me these questions? It's like if a stranger came up to you at a bus stop and was like, do you have plans with your family for Christmas? You'd be like, I don't know, but I gotta go right now. You just don't get any context, you know? Sometimes, it's funny, but like, Kate's grandma, actually, she's 86. She looks amazing for 86. Like, she's spry. And she keeps her mind sharp. She lives in California. She takes, like, community college classes, which is really impressive, particularly because she's 86 years old. She was born in Korea in the 1930s and lived through the Second World War when they were occupied by, you know, Imperial Japan. She's had a really amazing life, and she's still like, nah, I'm not done. I want to keep learning. But her English is just good enough to get her in trouble. Because she was talking to me, and she was like, I'm gonna go to Africa and volunteer with, like, underprivileged kids. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to Africa? And I was under the impression for, like, a long time that I was like, man, she's 87. She's gonna go volunteer in Africa. That's amazing. Like, this is an incredible woman. And then Kate, after a while, like, tapped me on the shoulder and was like, no, she said if she was younger, she would like to go to Africa. And I was like, okay, no offense, but that makes way more sense. I'm not saying you can't. Like, I believe that you could, just that it would probably also, you know, it's not the right time for it, if that makes sense, without being too rude to her. I mean, she is 87. That's old, dude. I'm not saying you can't follow your dreams. I'm just saying, you know, some dreams, you know, actually, I am saying you can't follow your dreams, and I apologize if that annoys you. You know, it's, there's certain realities in life that are inescapable, you know? If you want to be if you want to win World's Strongest Man, and you picked up your first barbell at the age of 30, the optics don't line up. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it's literally impossible, but the odds are stacked against you. You're going to have to work that much harder. You're going to have to want it that much more and probably get a little lucky in the process as well, you know? I grew up in a coddled era, for sure. I mean, my era is the era of participation trophies. Now, the participation trophies were bought and paid for by... Oh, I don't think I can take it, unfortunately. Not yet, anyway, because we're going to get hit there. We would have been on half of a heart. But I guess we would have gotten back to a full heart, but it's still... I feel more comfortable here. And you know what I'm going to say next, which is those participation trophies were insisted upon, bought, and paid for by my parents' generation, which then my generation has been blamed for whatever reason. But, I know why. But regardless, you know, I grew up in the era of, like, whatever you want to be, you can be it. I feel like a natural response to that is to be like, nah, not... Look, you should dream big. This is my personal take. I'm not saying this is how the world works necessarily. You should dream big, you know? You're 8 years old. You're like, I want to be the president. Sure. Structure your life in a way that you can pursue that goal. I'm not saying that's impossible for you. But there are some things where I'm like, you know, you got to recognize that, like, if your kid is like 16 and they're like, I want to play in the NFL, and you're like, cool. Have you ever played football? And they're like, no. That's where you got to kind of be like, you know what? Maybe set your sights on the CFL first, and we'll see where things go from there. I worry that this, I worry that the you can do anything attitude is harmful. Not because it, you know, makes kids pursue things that are unrealistic. I think that's fine. But rather, I think it sucks the nobility out of doing a job that is perhaps unglamorous, but not only necessary, but noble. You know what I mean? Like, very few people are like, Mom, when I grow up, I want to be a garbage man. There's probably a few, but not that many. It's not, you know, everybody's like, I want to be a singer. I want to be an actor, an actress. I want to, you know, be a professional athlete. Proportionally, there's way more sanitation experts than, you know, NBA players. But I hope that, you know, if you're working in sanitation, if you're a garbage man, I hope you have nobility in that job. I hope you feel proud. And I think that the culture that we've created around that, like, you can do anything, might impinge upon that a little bit. But I apologize if I'm not, if I'm misreading the situation. But, you know, you're doing a job that is necessary. You're getting paid for it. And you're keeping the systems running in a necessary way. I have great respect for that. Way more respect for that than, like, you know, I can dance really well and I was on, like, one boy band single. And now for the rest of my life, I'm just collecting passive income. Now, this is a very big pot calling the kettle black situation because I essentially have a job that is theoretically glamorous, but requires almost no talent whatsoever, as is evidenced from my gameplay so far. But still, I got respect for everybody, for one, but I have respect for the noble garbage man, the person at the recycling plant, you know, making sure things go where they're supposed to go. The people working in the sewers. I don't even understand. Like, the sewer is crazy to me, dude. Like, I know it's gross because it stinks, but, like, is it also not one of, like, humanity's greatest inventions? Like, everybody, when they talk about humanity's greatest inventions, they always talk about stuff that is, like, you know, okay, yeah, the space shuttle. All right, that's a huge one. But, like, you know, cell phones. Okay, like, sort of. For leisure. But, dude, the freaking sewer. You flush poison down the toilet, it goes through a copper highway. I guess it's mostly PVC these days, but I'm guessing at least, because most of the copper's been ripped out and then sold to fund narcotics addictions by now. No, copper, like, leaks into the... Doesn't it leak into the water itself? Anyway, regardless, this is irrelevant. I'm not a plumber, so it doesn't matter. It goes through a copper highway to a big, you know, like... I don't even know what you call it. A pit of pestilence. And then, you know, hey, we got some enzymes in there. We got some bacteria in there. We got some mechanical systems in there. And then check it out. You turn on your tap, clean freaking water comes out. That's incredible. You know, it's like... If you gave me a glass of, like, water with red food coloring in it, and we're like, hey, take the red out of this glass of water. That's basically the way I feel about the sewer. You're asking me to do something, and I'm like, I don't know what you're asking. Take the red out? You can't take the red out. It's in. Plus, people are flushing, like, all sorts of nonsense. People are in there flushing their, you know, like... glasses down the toilet and stuff like that. Plastic bags. What is wrong with people, dude? I know that I live in, like, we have a shared garbage facility here. And we're really good about recycling. That hurts. Just send me, dude. We separate our own recycling, we compost, and we tell ourselves that we're doing our part to save the world. Please give me some spirit hearts. Oh, you geniuses. Thank you. But then sometimes I go down. I'm stunned at this stuff. I'm sure if you live in an apartment building, you can understand this, and it's a relatable bit. You know, people, they want to absolve themselves of, like, their garbage and recycling guilt. So they will put trash in the garbage room or the recycling room and tell themselves, I'm sure, somebody's going to take that. Like, in our trash room right now, there's, like, 4 doors. Somebody clearly took their doors off, which is fine. You know, they're doing some home improvement. They want bespoke doors. You know, I'm not going to tell you it's not okay. But they just put the doors in the room. It's not... When waste management company comes, they're not gonna be like, oh, just put the doors in the garbage can. You know, they can't do anything with them. They're gonna sit there for like 6 months until, you know, somebody eventually deals with it. But the doors are there. Like, the trash is just like, it's a lost and found of hope, I think, is the way that I would describe it. People throw out all sorts of stuff. I get mighty annoyed now. Which I guess is like boomer energy to some extent, but like, you know, sometimes I open the garbage disposal and there's just like a bunch of cardboard boxes in it. Or the trash compactor, I should say. There's a bunch of cardboard boxes in it, and I'm like, you couldn't just bring the cardboard boxes? Cardboard is the easy recycling. It's the easiest of all the recycling. And then sometimes I open the garbage disposal. Somebody threw a can of paint into the trash compactor. It's like one of the things you're definitely not supposed to do. But people are like, ah, it's the trash. I don't know. Trash is magic. You put it out, it gets taken, and then it gets turned into clean air. Anyway, I'm back on my BS again. Let's get off of our BS. Okay, so here's the secret. Miss with the bad gas. Very bad bomb placement. That's the secret right there. Come on, give me this deal. We didn't earn it, but I wanted it. And sometimes it feels like that's a merit all in and of itself. Anyway, so that was my Christmas Eve. It was good. You know, it was a lot of driving. Still like, I don't know. Maybe you get used to it if you drive a lot. I don't drive that much. Especially not for like extended durations. So, like you know what a metatarsal is? It's a tendon on your foot that connects your toes to the body of the foot. And, you know, causes your toes to push up, push down, etc., as your brain decrees. My right metatarsal is so sore. I think just from, you know, holding it on the gas pedal, moving it to the brake pedal, you know. It's only 5 hours of driving, which is not that much, but why not use cruise control? I honestly, it's not that I don't trust cruise control. I just feel like there's too much traffic here to use cruise control reliably. Like, I have used it on this car before, but, you know, if there's like another car 2 seconds in front of you based on the speed you're traveling, you don't want to use cruise control. Just stay focused. Stay alert, stay safe. I'm not a cruise control sort of guy. I think it has its uses, you know. I live in a relatively population not dense country with a highway system. I'm sure if you, you know, go a little bit more interior, you get way more opportunities. But for now, that's not the case for us. Kate got me a premier Christmas gift. Is the black Canucks skate jersey. I was very excited to see it. No name on it yet. I know you're like, whose name are you gonna put on it? Or you're like, what the heck is the skate jersey? Go look it up. It's one of the most iconic 90s sports jersey designs of all time. I didn't even know it was supposed to be a skate until like 5 years ago. I thought it was just a weird plate of spaghetti. You're like, you gotta get a Pedersen jersey. Here's the thing, Kate has a Pedersen jersey. I don't want to, you know, you can't show up to Rogers Arena with 2 Pedersens. How embarrassing. Why don't you get a Besser then? I already got a Besser with the Vancouver and the Orca on it. Okay. What about Bo Horvat? Well, I don't know if he's earned it this season. I respect him, but at the same time, he's had a pretty down year, but he's been a good captain, I hope, in the locker room with a calming presence. All right, just get Quinn Hughes then. All right, finally, you told me what I wanted to hear in the first place. We'll probably get Quinn Hughes. Sorry, it's hockey talk, sweetheart. That hockey talk. Badonka. You know that song? If not, that's going to sound bizarre. There's a song called Hockey Tonk Badonka Dunk. Honky tonk badonka dunk. Can I know that this is, because whenever people are like, I like all music, they always immediately say, except for rap and country, only rap has really come up since like the 90s. Country is kind of in like the same spot, I think. I know there is good country music from the recent era. You know, Sturgill Simpson, probably Sturgill, but whatever. It's a made-up name anyway. I know all names are made up, but that one's more made up than most. Okay, Ryan. But like popular country music, I was surprised. Like when my parents were here, they were watching The Voice, and it just. I mean, here's the thing: popular like top 40 music now. I'm not saying it's great, but it sounds totally different than top 40 music 20 years ago. You know, when I was listening to the radio in 1999. Everything sounded like either the Backstreet Boys or Will Smith's Miami. Those were the only two types of songs on the radio. It was like bubblegum pop or Latin-infused pseudo-bubblegum pop. Maybe with a non-threatening rap verse thrown in somewhere. Now, you know, I listen to popular music and I'm like, yeah, some of it I understand. Some of it I'm like, I don't get it at all. And I think that's kind of cool that, you know, trends have been changing. But country music, you know, when I was listening to it in, you know, 1998, some of it was playing on The Voice that my parents were watching, and I was like, it's in the same spot, dude. That ain't my truck in a driveway. It's just, that's very nice. That's a very nice get. I'm just surprised, but then I think about, you know, it's going to sound, what I'm about to say is going to sound pretty judgmental, I think, but just let me work my way out of it before you get mad, okay? There's a lot to ask in the modern era, but I think the kinds of people, the demographics that traditionally listen to country music are people that tend to, I'm going to say something that sounds negative, they tend to be resistant to change relative to the average person. But that's maybe because they respect the tradition more. I'm not saying any of it carries positivity or negativity associated with it. It is also fair to note, take my HP, please. They didn't. That I sort of don't know what I'm talking about. I've heard like 3 country songs on the radio in the past decade, so. But if it's any, if it aids my case at all, the reason I've only heard 3 is because anytime I heard the third one, I just turned it off. And I used to listen when I was a kid, even through to being like an early teenager. I was all about the country music, you know, your Garth Brookses, your Alan Jacksons, your Randy Travises, your Travis Tritts, etc., etc. I don't know what happened. I think I grew up in like a new country kind of boom. And then I was like, I went straight from Garth Brooks to The Offspring. It was like one day, favorite song, I was like Standing Outside the Fire by Garth Brooks. Next day, I was like, Why Don't You Get a Job by The Offspring. I'm here to tell you, I think, you know, for my personal taste, The Offspring are a better band than, you know, Garth Brooks is a musician, in terms of at least my enjoyment. But Standing Outside the Fire is a much better song than Why Don't You Get a Job. I got a lot of disrespect for novelty songs. And Why Don't You Get a Job is a novelty song. You know how I know? It has the most sing-along chorus of all time. Which is like, even if the theme was not a novelty song, which it is, the fact that the chorus is so simple is like, you're wearing it on your sleeve. Okay, please stop walking into the enemies. This is not smart. But self-esteem, now we're talking. That's a song. Bad timing, brother. Starting to think maybe I shouldn't have taken Bob's brain. We have not been to the shop. The shop is going to save us here. Don't get hit by the freaking champion, dude. Don't jump. Don't. He's jumping, dude. Come on. Don't jump. Don't jump! Okay. Good crack on that one. Have to check. That's for the future. The shop's right here, dummy. You did go to the shop, you fool! You gotta look for the demon hearts. I mean, the run is very good. It just needs a certain something extra right now. That's very nice. That's very nice as well, but not for our specific needs at the present moment. This could be extremely good. Or extremely not anything at all, I suppose. I mean, I still love our chances here, mostly due to invincibility. Plus sack dagger. That's the big money right now. But it's a little spooky, and without a doubt, Bob's brain does not help. So I'm hoping maybe a second secret room has some magic for us. Really, like a couple of spirit hearts puts us in such a good position. I'm just gonna hydrate a little bit while we do this. I'm literally like the littlest bit. There were like 2 drops left in that water bottle. And for like actual, you know, December 25th Christmas yesterday. Pretty low-key day. It was just nice, you know. Woke up. Our in-laws got us a waffle maker, which I was actually like stoked about. For one, I love waffles. Sweet waffles, savory waffles. I'll take them any which way. Tried to buy waffle ingredients. Everything's closed. That's right, it's Christmas. That makes sense. It's pretty much my thought process. Okay, use Bob's brain quickly. Thank you. Now use sack dagger. Watched a couple of movies. I will say, Kate got me to watch Frozen. And the story of Frozen, it's for kids. Let's just put it that way. It's not a bad story, but it's not nuanced. You know, it moves quick, it's broad strokes, etc., etc. But with the songs in Frozen, I'm like, dude, I can absolutely see why this movie made so much money and had a lasting legacy. Up to this point, at least. Like Idina Menzel, her voice is so good. How do you sing like that? I can't sing like that. The closest I get is, that ain't my truck. It's as good as it gets, dude. I know, we're under the gun here. I don't want to lose this run. This is, it would be an embarrassment, to be certain. No Krampus, please? No Krampus? Okay, I'm waiting it out, but I know we can teleport if we have to. Watched a few movies, yes. I also watched Moneyball. Moneyball. I watched it on a plane in like 2012, and I was like, this movie's pretty good. Can't take it. Then I watched it, you know, at home in 2019 as an older man, and I was like, whoa, this movie's actually incredible. I'm not saying that a 23-year-old can't appreciate Moneyball. I'm just saying that me at 23 versus me at 31, I had a much different take on that movie. Like at 23, I was like, get him, Billy! Prove the usefulness of sabermetrics to these old dinosaurs. At 31, I was like, Billy Bean is in Sisyphusian task. His only quest in life is to win with the Oakland Athletics, and he will stop at nothing. It represents the folly of man. After they win 20 games in a row, he says, it don't matter. If we don't win the last game of the series, they'll write us off. They'll forget about us. And wouldn't you know it, they don't go on to win the World Series. In fact, they don't even go on to win the ALCS. And I think that it's made even better in a weird way by the fact that Oakland still has not won a World Series, and Billy Beane still works for the organization. It's like his work still is not done. It's wild. Anyway, there's something, there's like some Greek tragedy in that that's really good, but also like incredibly motivating. When I saw it when I was younger, I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's like an 8 out of 10 movie about baseball. Now I'm like, it's a 10 out of 10 movie about life, dude. Life is Moneyball. Maybe I'm being a little extreme. Okay, we've already peeped that. Still can't take it. That was a good floor. We were under the gun for a bit, but we made it work. Joker. Also bad. And now we've also... Help me. Gotta get rid of this Bob's brain. We got a real negative, actually, now that I think about it, because we don't have... oh, yeah. We don't have empty vessel. We gotta check that. The lack of empty vessel is pronounced. I think we should go back and take a deal. And the deal should probably be Book of Sin. Even though we're not going to keep it, Cambion Conception, just look at the HP we have. There's no way Cambion Conception ends up ever paying out. At least Book of Sin could give us something. You know what I mean? At least it could give us a Spirit Heart. But I think, but then, truth be told, I'm looking at the situation now, having taken one more hit, and I'm like, we don't want to be one hit away from death, you know? 2 hits away from death is bad enough. We shouldn't be here. I'm not even supposed to be here. Hope I don't. You know what? Okay, let me out. This room shouldn't be too bad. It's a game of rooms. With knives in the back of me. Keep cracking those. It's very helpful. It's not the most helpful, but it's very helpful. Use your bombs for good purposes. I felt we were getting hit there. So I thought that was a sensible approach. And you gotta be a little creative at this point. That room also sucks, because with Curse of Darkness, it's so hard to see the creep. Stay out. Thank you. I think we got a little lucky to not feel the heat on that room. A speed up is worth it right now. Not always worth it, which is what I was going to say, but worth it right now. Just take your time on this one. There's your play. No secret room there, so we're not getting into the cursed room for free. We can't get out of the cursed room for free either. Oh my god! Are you... I tracked it the whole way, but still. And that's the worst tinted rock we ever could have asked for there. Yep. That's bad. That's a bad loss. We lost a lot of HP, left it on the field. It hurts. But we'll get over it. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya! Yikes.